Ladies and gentlemen, we've all been there times when life seems uncertain, when the weight of the world feels unbearable, and the urge to pray is the only comfort we can find. Prayer is powerful, sacred, and deeply transformative. It's the moment when we surrender our worries, doubts, and fears, trusting that a higher power will guide us. But what if I told you that belief is the most important ingredient before you even utter the first words of your prayer? It's true. Before you pray, you must first believe. Believe in the power of prayer. Believe that your prayers matter. Believe that the universe, God, or whatever higher power you believe in is listening, and that what you ask for is already in motion. Our belief is the seed that nourishes our prayer and activates the change we hope to see. When we believe in our heart of hearts, it aligns our thoughts, emotions, and actions with the power we are calling on. Belief is the cornerstone of any prayer. It is the foundation upon which the entire act of prayer rests. Without belief, prayer becomes an empty set of words, a mere recitation without purpose or intention. The true power of prayer lies in the belief that accompanies it, the unwavering conviction that what you are asking for will be received and that it matters. Before you pray, it is essential to first believe that prayer has the power to create change in your life. Belief works as the conduit that connects your inner world to the divine or universal energy you're praying to. It establishes a direct line of communication and opens the door for miracles to occur. Think of belief as the key to unlocking the potential that lies within your prayer. Without this key, the door remains closed and no transformation can happen. When you believe, you are sending out a message that says, I trust that this prayer will be heard, and I trust that the outcome will be for my highest good. It's this very trust that activates the universe, a higher power or whatever force you believe in, to begin working on your behalf. Belief also aligns your energy with your intention. Prayer isn't just about saying the words, it's about aligning your heart, mind, and spirit with what you are asking for. Without belief, your energy is scattered and conflicted. You may find yourself asking for something but secretly doubting that it's possible or not truly expecting it to happen. On the other hand, when you truly believe, you align yourself with the energy of your request, creating a powerful synergy between your intentions and the universe's response. Your belief strengthens your prayer, making it not just an act of asking, but one of true connection with the forces that shape your reality. The power of belief is also rooted in the understanding that it is not just wishful thinking. Belief is not a passive desire, it is an active force that shapes the trajectory of our lives. When you believe, you are affirming that your prayer is not just a wish thrown out into the void, but a request with purpose and power. It acknowledges that the universe is responsive and that the energy you put into your belief will eventually reflect back in your life. This reciprocal relationship between belief and prayer is a fundamental aspect of why prayer is so effective. When you believe, you step into your own power and give life to your words, making them much more than just wishes or hopes. They become commands, declarations, and requests with purpose. Belief also builds resilience in the face of adversity. Sometimes our prayers are not immediately answered in the way we expect, and doubt may begin to creep in. But it is during these moments that belief becomes even more critical. Believing before you pray means trusting in the process even when things seem uncertain or challenging. It's about having faith that the prayer will be answered. even if it doesn't happen according to your timing or expectations. Belief gives you the strength to persist, even when obstacles arise, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should and that your prayer is still in motion. Furthermore, belief in prayer fosters a deep sense of connection to the divine. When we believe that our prayers are truly being heard, it strengthens our relationship with the higher power we are calling upon. It creates an intimate bond of trust. As we open ourselves up to the possibility of receiving grace, guidance and support, the more we believe, the more we begin to experience the manifestations of our prayers, which reinforces our faith and belief in the process. Belief is not just an internal experience, but also a vibrational frequency that influences our external world. Our beliefs shape our perception of reality. When we believe that prayer works, that miracles are possible, and that the universe is working on our behalf, we start to notice the signs, synchronicities and opportunities that arise. Our belief opens our eyes to the subtle ways in which our prayers are being answered, and it brings a sense of hope and optimism into our lives. The world begins to reflect the belief we hold, and in turn, it fuels our faith even further. In essence, the power of belief before prayer is the essential ingredient that activates and amplifies the transformative power of prayer itself. Without belief, prayer remains nothing more than a ritual. But when belief is present, prayer becomes a powerful, life-changing force, capable of creating profound shifts in our lives. Believing before you pray is not just about trusting the outcome, it's about trusting the entire process, trusting that your connection to the divine is real and that your desires are being supported by the unseen forces that are always at work in your life. Faith is not merely an abstract concept, it is a force that breathes life into your prayer. Faith is the energy that transforms a mere request into a powerful living force that reaches beyond the limitations of the physical world. When you pray with faith, you are charging your prayer with the strength of your belief, creating a vibration that resonates with the universe or whatever higher power you trust. Faith is the fuel that propels your prayer forward, infusing it with vitality, purpose and intention. Without faith, prayer can easily become a hollow routine. When we pray without belief or faith, we send out a weak, unfocused energy into the universe. It's akin to whispering a request into the air without any expectation of a response. Faith, however, turns that prayer into a dynamic force, a call for action that reverberates through the cosmos. It's the spark that lights the fire of manifestation, enabling our words to connect with the energy around us and bring about tangible change. Faith gives our prayers purpose. It imbues them with a sense of certainty that they will be answered. Faith also serves as the bridge between our inner desires and the outer world. It strengthens the connection between our thoughts, our hearts, and the divine energy we are tapping into. When we pray with faith, we're not just asking for something, we are aligning ourselves with the potential for it to come to fruition. Faith is the invisible thread that weaves our hopes and dreams into the fabric of reality. The more faith we have, the clearer and stronger this connection becomes, making our prayers more powerful and effective. Faith energizes prayer by empowering us to move beyond doubt and fear. Doubt is a natural human response to uncertainty, but when we approach prayer with unwavering faith, doubt has no place to take root. Faith is like a shield protecting our prayer from being overshadowed by negative thoughts, skepticism or worry. Instead of focusing on what might go wrong, faith encourages us to focus on what can go right. It shifts our mindset from one of fear to one of confidence and trust in the process. When you pray with faith, you begin to operate from a higher state of consciousness. Faith allows us to see possibilities rather than limitations. It helps us move past the surface level concerns and look deeper into the potential of what can be achieved. Faith in your prayer cultivates a mindset of abundance and success rather than one of scarcity or failure. It teaches us to trust that there is more than enough in the universe to manifest our desires, and that no prayer is too small or too grand to be answered. Moreover, faith doesn't only activate your prayer, but also strengthens your resolve to take action. Faith, when combined with prayer, drives you to make choices that align with the outcome you seek. For instance, if you pray for abundance but do not believe in your worthiness of it, or lack the faith to act on opportunities that arise, your prayer remains disconnected from the physical world. Faith in your prayer creates a momentum that pushes you to move in alignment with your intentions and to open yourself to receiving whatever the universe brings your way. It's this blend of faith and action that creates powerful change. Faith also helps you maintain patience. One of the most challenging aspects of prayer is the waiting period, the time between asking and receiving. Faith serves as the anchor that keeps you grounded during this phase. Instead of feeling disheartened, frustrated, or anxious, faith reassures you that your prayer is already being answered, even if the results haven't yet manifested. Faith reminds you that timing is not always in our hands, and that the universe works on its own schedule, which is often better than we could have imagined. When you truly have faith, you surrender to the process, knowing that the outcome will be exactly what you need, even if it takes time to come to fruition. Additionally, faith in prayer strengthens our ability to overcome challenges. Life is not without its struggles, and sometimes the path to our prayers being answered is filled with obstacles and setbacks. However, when you pray with faith, you trust that these challenges are part of the process and not a sign that your prayer is being ignored or unanswered. Faith gives you the resilience to persevere, knowing that the universe has a way of turning even the hardest times into opportunities for growth, transformation, and learning. Faith also invites miracles into your life. When we pray with a firm belief in the power of prayer, we open ourselves to the possibility of miracles, those extraordinary, seemingly impossible events that defy logic and explanation. Prayer backed by unwavering faith has the power to manifest miracles because it calls forth an energy that goes beyond human limitations. Faith is the key that unlocks the door to these miraculous occurrences, making us receptive to experiences and blessings that seem beyond our control. Moreover, when we pray with faith, we are not just praying for ourselves, we are also connecting to the collective energy of humanity. Faith allows us to see that our prayers are part of a much larger divine plan. We are not isolated in our desires, but are part of a greater web of interconnectedness, where our prayers work in harmony with others to create a more loving, compassionate, and abundant world. This broader perspective reinforces the power of our prayer, knowing that we are tapping into a force that extends far beyond our individual concerns. Prayer is not the same as wishing. While both may involve asking for something we desire, prayer with belief carries a transformative power that wishing lacks. When you pray, you are engaging with something deeper and more profound. You are aligning your spirit with a higher purpose, a divine force, or the universe itself. Prayer is an active intentional request, while wishing is more of a passive desire. Wishing is often tied to a sense of uncertainty or doubt, whereas prayer, when coupled with belief, is a declaration of faith that invites change and transformation into your life. When we wish for something, there is often an undertone of doubt. We might wish for things like success, health, or love, but we don't fully believe they will come to fruition. Wishing is often done from a place of hoping rather than knowing. You wish for something, but deep down you might not feel fully worthy of it, or you might doubt its arrival. Wishing tends to be vague and lacks the conviction that prayer carries. It is a mental desire without the heart-centered belief that something will indeed happen. On the other hand, when you pray with belief, you are not just asking for something to occur, you're affirming that it will. You're not just sending a request into the universe, you're opening yourself up to receiving the answer with faith and expectancy. Prayer with belief strengthens your connection to what you're asking for and signals to the universe that you trust in the possibility of its manifestation. You believe it is already on its way, and you act accordingly. Belief in prayer is like planting a seed in fertile soil. When you wish for something, it's as if you are throwing a seed out into barren land without a clear plan or intention for growth. But when you pray with belief, you are not only planting the seed but also nurturing it. You water it, care for it, and make space for it to grow. The belief you hold is what ensures that the seed will take root and grow, just as a prayer rooted in belief will eventually blossom into reality. Without belief, you are planting that seed in a desolate place where it has little chance of thriving. Wishing also tends to be passive. It's something that happens when we feel like we have no control. We wish for something to happen, hoping that fate will take care of it. Prayer, however, is active. It's an intentional process that involves not only asking but also aligning yourself with what you desire. When you pray with belief, you are taking responsibility for your desires and acknowledging that you have the power to manifest them. You are not just waiting for a miracle, you are actively engaging with the universe or a higher power to bring about what you need. Additionally, when you pray without belief, you send out conflicting energies. You might say the words of your prayer, but if you don't believe in their power, you're doubting whether the request will be fulfilled. This inner conflict weakens your prayer. You're essentially telling the universe that you want something, but you're not sure if it's possible. On the other hand, when you pray with belief, your words and your energy are in complete harmony. You fully trust that what you are asking for is already in the process of being brought into your life. This clarity of thought and belief strengthens your prayer and aligns your intentions with the flow of the universe. Prayer without belief can also cause frustration and impatience. You might pray for something, but because you don't fully believe that it will manifest, you quickly become discouraged when you don't see immediate results. This sense of frustration creates a cycle of doubt that can prevent your prayer from being answered. In contrast, when you pray with belief, you understand that the timing of your prayer's manifestation may not be immediate, but you trust that it will come at the right time. You are not swayed by immediate results, knowing that the universe is always working in your favor, even if it takes time for the manifestation to unfold. Wishing can also be a form of wishful thinking, where we desire something out of fleeting desire rather than true need or alignment with our higher self. Prayer, on the other hand, is grounded in intentionality. When you pray with belief, your prayer is rooted in the recognition that what you are asking for is in alignment with your true purpose and higher self. It's not just about asking for things for the sake of desire, it's about asking for things that will help you grow, evolve, and serve the world in a positive way. Another critical distinction between wishing and praying with belief is the sense of surrender and trust. When you wish for something, there's an underlying feeling of needing to control the outcome. There is an expectation that you can dictate the terms of how and when it will happen. Prayer, however, is an act of surrender. When you pray with belief, you trust that the universe or higher power knows the best way to bring about what you need, even if it looks different from what you imagined. You release the need for control and trust that the answer will come in its perfect form, even if that form is not exactly what you envisioned. In summary, prayer without belief is a mere wish-a request that carries no power or certainty. It's asking without expectation, desiring without trust. Wishing is often rooted in a lack of faith, while prayer with belief is rooted in trust, intention, and alignment with a higher power. Prayer with belief is transformative. It brings clarity, energy, and confidence to your desires, turning them into real possibilities. When you pray with belief, you are not just asking for something, you are declaring that you trust in its arrival and that you are ready to receive it. Prayer is more than just a request for things we want, it is a powerful act that aligns us with our higher purpose. When you pray with belief, you aren't simply asking for a specific outcome, you are opening yourself up to the divine flow that guides you toward your true path. Prayer with belief helps to establish a deeper connection with your soul's purpose, helping you understand the reason behind your desires and how they fit into the greater plan of your life. It brings clarity, direction, and a sense of fulfillment, ensuring that your prayers are not just about acquiring material things, but about finding meaning, purpose, and alignment with your highest self. When we pray, particularly with belief, we must remember that what we are asking for is not just about satisfying our immediate wants, but about discovering what aligns with our true potential. Prayer helps us ask for things that will help us grow, evolve, and step into our authentic selves. Through belief, we begin to trust that the universe is guiding us toward the right experiences, even if they don't always fit our preconceived notions of what we need. One of the most transformative aspects of praying with belief is the way it helps us align our desires with our soul's deepest longings. Often we may ask for things out of habit or societal expectation, but prayer, when rooted in belief, brings clarity about what truly serves us. It helps us connect with our inner wisdom and discern what is aligned with our purpose. Prayer with belief reminds us that the things we ask for should not only bring us happiness in the short term, but should also guide us toward a greater sense of fulfillment, growth, and understanding. By praying with belief, we step into a space of trust and openness, where we can release attachment to specific outcomes and allow our desires to unfold in a way that supports our soul's evolution. Instead of forcing things into place, prayer becomes a tool for surrender, where we place our trust in the process, knowing that the divine plan is more expansive and purposeful than we could ever imagine. It allows us to release the illusion of control and trust that we are being guided toward the opportunities and experiences that are right for us. Belief, in this context, plays a key role in helping us recognize that our prayers are part of a larger, interconnected journey. It reminds us that we are not isolated in our desires, but rather we are part of a greater web of existence. The act of praying with belief sends out energy that resonates with the larger universe, helping us to align with our collective mission on earth. Our individual prayers, when fueled by belief, harmonize with the greater good, bringing not only our desires to life, but also contributing to the collective flow of energy that sustains and uplifts humanity. Praying with belief also invites us to reconsider what we truly value in life. Oftentimes our desires are driven by external pressures, society's standards of success, wealth or status. But when we pray with belief, we begin to ask ourselves deeper questions. What do I truly want? What is the highest version of myself that I am striving to become? These questions shift the focus of prayer from a mere transaction to a deeper exploration of what is truly meaningful. Belief in our prayers guides us to ask for things that help us discover who we are at our core and how we can contribute to the world in ways that are authentic and aligned with our divine purpose. Furthermore, prayer with belief allows us to build a bridge between our inner desires and our external reality. When we are aligned with our higher purpose, we feel a sense of direction, clarity and peace. We begin to understand that everything we are praying for is leading us to the next phase of our journey, even if it's not always obvious. Through this alignment, our prayers help us step into the flow of life, where opportunities, people and circumstances seem to align effortlessly, almost as if by magic. This alignment is not based on force or struggle, but on trust and belief that our prayers are part of a grand design. Moreover, when we pray with belief, we open ourselves to receiving guidance from the universe in unexpected ways. Often, the answers to our prayers don't come in the form we anticipate. They may come as intuitive insights, synchronicities, or opportunities that seem to appear out of nowhere. Belief in prayer enhances our ability to recognize these signs and see them as confirmations that we are on the right path. It encourages us to listen to the quiet whispers of our soul, guiding us towards the actions that will lead to fulfillment and alignment with our purpose. In times of uncertainty, prayer with belief provides a source of strength. It helps us stay grounded and focused even when we are unsure of the next step. Prayer becomes a tool for recalibrating our direction, allowing us to return to our center when we feel lost or overwhelmed. The belief behind our prayer empowers us to take bold, inspired actions that are in harmony with our purpose. It fills us with confidence that no matter what obstacles may arise, we are always moving towards something greater than ourselves. Another significant aspect of praying with belief is the role it plays in transforming challenges into opportunities for growth. Life's challenges often seem like setbacks or failures, but when we approach them through the lens of prayer and belief, we see them as essential parts of our personal evolution. Belief transforms our perspective, allowing us to view difficulties as stepping stones on the path to deeper understanding. When we believe that everything is working for our greater good, even the most challenging experiences become opportunities to strengthen our character, develop resilience, and gain wisdom that aligns us even more closely with our purpose. As we continue to pray with belief, we begin to develop a sense of trust that our purpose is always unfolding. The things we desire are not simply materialistic goals, but essential milestones on our journey of self-discovery and service. We begin to understand that prayer, in its truest form, is not about asking for things to simply make us happy. It's about connecting with our higher purpose, which often requires us to step outside of our comfort zones and grow in ways we never anticipated. Prayer with belief opens the door to this growth, helping us embrace the process of becoming the person we are truly meant to be. One of the most significant gifts that belief in prayer provides is the cultivation of patience and persistence. When we pray with belief, we are acknowledging that while we may desire an outcome, we trust that the universe or a higher power is working on a timeline that is beyond our comprehension. Belief in the process of prayer teaches us that results do not always appear instantly, and this understanding helps us develop the patience necessary to wait for those results without frustration or doubt. Belief, in this sense, becomes a tool for emotional resilience, allowing us to stay centered and grounded as we await the unfolding of our prayers. Patience is an essential aspect of any meaningful endeavor, and prayer is no exception. When we pray, we often expect immediate answers or signs that our desires are being fulfilled. However, prayer with belief helps us understand that there is often a period of waiting, sometimes a long one, before we see the results we are seeking. During this waiting period, it is easy to become impatient or discouraged, especially when nothing seems to be happening. However, belief in our prayer process teaches us that what we ask for is already on its way, even if we cannot see the evidence of it right away. This deeper understanding of the timing of our prayers fosters patience, allowing us to trust in the unfolding process rather than rushing it. It is in the waiting that belief becomes truly transformative. When we believe that our prayers are being answered, even when the physical evidence is not immediately present, we cultivate a mindset of faith. This mindset of unwavering belief encourages us to remain hopeful, knowing that, just like planting a seed in the ground, the process of growth takes time. We don't expect to see an entire tree the moment we plant the seed. Instead, we trust that the seed will take root, grow, and eventually bear fruit. Prayer with belief helps us understand that the same principle applies to our desires. Just because we can't see the results immediately doesn't mean they are not on their way. This perspective allows us to wait with grace and peace, knowing that patience is part of the process. Alongside patience, belief in prayer also nurtures persistence. Persistence is what keeps us going even when it seems like our prayers are not being answered right away. The act of praying with belief does not just involve asking once and hoping for a quick response. It requires a steady, consistent belief that things will work out, no matter how long it takes. Persistence is rooted in the understanding that while answers may not come immediately, they are always on their way. This persistence encourages us to keep praying, keep taking action, and keep moving forward in alignment with our desires, even when we face setbacks or challenges. Belief in prayer gives us the courage to persist, especially in the face of adversity. When we are faced with obstacles or delays, it is easy to lose faith or become disheartened. However, prayer rooted in belief teaches us that setbacks are not signs of failure, but rather opportunities to grow, learn, and deepen our faith. Persistence in this context is not just about continuing to ask for what we want, but about maintaining a belief in the process of prayer. It is about trusting that every step we take, even when it feels like we are not moving forward, is part of the divine timing at work. Belief strengthens our resolve, helping us push through difficult times without losing sight of our goals. Furthermore, belief in prayer fosters the mindset that no prayer is ever wasted. Even when we do not see immediate results, the energy and intention we put into our prayers are never lost. Every prayer, every moment of belief contributes to the manifestation process in ways that may not be immediately visible. This understanding encourages persistence, as we know that even though we may not see a quick response, our prayers are being heard and we are being guided in the right direction. We trust that even if the answer is not what we expected, it will ultimately be for our highest good. This kind of persistence, rooted in belief, is the kind of persistence that is not driven by frustration or fear, but by trust and faith in the unseen process that is unfolding. Belief in prayer also teaches us to embrace the power of small, consistent actions. While we may want grand, immediate changes, belief reminds us that every small prayer, every act of faith, and every step we take toward our desires adds up over time. Persistence is about consistently showing up for our prayers, consistently believing, and consistently taking aligned actions in the direction of our goals. It is easy to get discouraged if we don't see instant progress, but when we pray with belief, we understand that even the smallest steps toward our desires are part of the larger unfolding process. Each small step is a victory in itself, and each prayer is a piece of the puzzle coming together. In times of difficulty, belief also helps us view challenges as opportunities to strengthen our patience and persistence. Life can be unpredictable, and sometimes our prayers seem to be met with delays, detours, or difficulties. However, belief allows us to see these obstacles not as roadblocks, but as necessary parts of our journey. When we trust in the process, we begin to understand that every challenge is an opportunity to grow and develop the very qualities that will help us achieve our desires in the long run. Belief reminds us that every experience, even those that seem painful or frustrating, is leading us to greater clarity, wisdom, and alignment with our purpose. Additionally, belief in prayer fosters a mindset that the journey is just as important as the destination. Often, we become so focused on the outcome that we forget the value of the process itself. Belief teaches us that the act of praying, of staying connected to our desires, and of practicing patience and persistence are part of our growth. It is through the process of waiting and remaining persistent that we often learn the most about ourselves, our needs, and our spiritual path. Prayer with belief turns waiting from a source of frustration into a time of growth, reflection, and deepening connection with the divine. As we continue to pray with belief, we begin to trust that the universe or higher power is working on our behalf, even if we don't see immediate results. This belief allows us to move through life with greater confidence and peace, knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, in its own perfect time. Patience and persistence, fueled by belief, help us navigate the ups and downs of life with grace and trust. Ultimately, we come to understand that our faith is the key that unlocks the power of prayer, and through our belief, we are given the strength to keep going, no matter what obstacles may arise. Hey there, this is Max from Play AI. Just touching base to see if you have any questions about our ultra-fast voice solutions. When we pray with belief, one of the most profound shifts we experience is an increase in gratitude. Prayer isn't just about asking for what we want, it's also about recognizing what we already have and acknowledging the ways in which the universe or a higher power has already been working in our lives. When we truly believe that our prayers are being answered, we cultivate a deep sense of appreciation for both the tangible and intangible gifts that surround us. This gratitude transforms our mindset and our perspective on life, helping us to focus on abundance rather than lack, and reinforcing the belief that we are always supported no matter what we face. Belief in prayer helps us recognize that everything we have, everything we are, and everything that comes into our lives is part of a divine process. It teaches us that prayer is not just about making demands or asking for something specific, it's also about being open to receiving the blessings that are already present in our lives, even if we don't always recognize them. Prayer with belief fosters a mindset that, despite any difficulties or challenges, we are always surrounded by blessings, large and small. Gratitude, therefore, becomes a natural byproduct of this belief as we begin to see the many ways in which the universe supports us, even in moments of uncertainty. Gratitude, when cultivated through belief in prayer, shifts our focus from what we don't have to what we do. It allows us to appreciate the things that often go unnoticed: the breath in our lungs, the roof over our heads, the love of family and friends, the opportunities that come our way, and the simple joys of daily life. Prayer with belief helps us realize that these gifts are not to be taken for granted, but rather they are manifestations of the universe's constant care and support. When we begin to see everything as a blessing, we develop a profound sense of gratitude that fills our hearts and minds, transforming how we move through the world. Furthermore, gratitude through belief in prayer creates a shift in our energy and vibration. The more we acknowledge the gifts and blessings we already have, the more we attract positivity into our lives. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces we can cultivate, and when we combine it with belief, it amplifies the energy we put into our prayers. When we are thankful for what we already have, we send out a signal to the universe that we are open and ready to receive even more. This creates a cycle of positive energy, where the more we believe in the power of prayer and express gratitude, the more we are gifted with even greater blessings, which only deepens our belief and gratitude in return. The practice of gratitude also helps us develop a greater sense of contentment. It's easy to fall into the trap of always wanting more success, more wealth, more love, but prayer with belief shifts this mindset. As we focus on what we already have and feel genuinely thankful for it, we stop chasing after fleeting desires and instead begin to appreciate the richness of the present moment. This doesn't mean we stop desiring or setting goals, but it does help us approach life with a sense of peace and fulfillment, regardless of where we are on our journey. Gratitude allows us to enjoy the journey itself rather than always looking to the next destination. When we pray with belief and gratitude, we also cultivate a sense of humility. We recognize that the blessings we receive are not solely the result of our own efforts, but are gifts from the divine. Belief in prayer helps us see that everything we have, everything we are, is part of a larger, interconnected whole. We are not isolated in our experiences. We are supported and guided by forces greater than ourselves. This understanding fosters humility as we realize that we are part of something much bigger than our individual desires or achievements. Gratitude helps us to humble ourselves before the vastness of the universe, acknowledging that we are recipients of its abundant gifts and we do not take them for granted. Moreover, belief in prayer deepens our ability to express gratitude for the challenges we face. While it's easy to feel thankful for the things that bring us joy and comfort, it's much more difficult to feel gratitude when we are experiencing hardship or struggle. However, when we approach life through the lens of prayer and belief, we begin to understand that even difficulties have value. Every challenge we face, whether big or small, is an opportunity for growth, learning, and transformation. Prayer with belief helps us see the hidden blessings within our struggles, whether they come in the form of lessons, strength, or resilience. Gratitude in the face of adversity doesn't mean we are happy about the struggle, but rather we are thankful for the growth that comes from it. Belief in prayer also shifts our relationship with time. It helps us embrace the present moment, understanding that the process of prayer, the time spent waiting, and the moments in between are all part of the divine flow. Gratitude makes us aware of the beauty of life in its entirety, rather than always focusing on the end result. In this way, we develop a deeper connection to the unfolding of our lives. We realize that every moment, whether it's spent in joy or sorrow, stillness or action, is part of a greater, unfolding journey. By focusing on gratitude, we allow ourselves to become present with the now, knowing that everything we experience is a reflection of the divine. Additionally, gratitude reinforces the trust we place in the divine. When we pray with belief, we are acknowledging that there is a higher power at work in our lives. Gratitude reinforces that trust as we begin to recognize that everything, whether it's a blessing or a challenge, is part of a plan that is ultimately for our highest good. As we continue to pray, we begin to see how everything falls into place, and our gratitude grows stronger with each step. When we trust the process and express gratitude, we strengthen our relationship with the divine, deepening our sense of connection and love. Another way that gratitude manifests through belief in prayer is in our interactions with others. When we are deeply thankful for the blessings in our lives, we are more likely to share those blessings with the people around us. Gratitude enhances our ability to be generous, kind, and compassionate. It reminds us that we are part of a community and that the abundance we experience is not meant to be hoarded, but shared. As we cultivate a grateful heart through our prayers, we naturally extend that gratitude to others, creating a ripple effect of positivity and generosity in our lives and in the world. Lastly, gratitude enhances our sense of self-worth and fulfillment. When we believe in our prayers, we not only acknowledge the gifts we receive from the universe, but we also affirm that we are worthy of those blessings. Gratitude helps us recognize our value and our deservingness, shifting us away from feelings of inadequacy or lack. As we continue to pray with belief, we understand that we are part of a larger divine plan, and that the gifts we receive are not just for us but for the benefit of the world. This realization increases our sense of fulfillment and purpose, knowing that our prayers and gratitude contribute to the greater good. We are super excited about the possibilities and would love to chat more.